Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Afifah Rastri. I will present my proposal. Here Adelia Nur Hidayah as the discussion 1, Tiara Anissa as the discussion 2, and Nurbaiti as the note taker. So, without any further ado, my research proposal is entitled Improving Students' Vocabulary Knowledge of Descriptive Text by Using Tic-Tac-Toe Game, a classroom action research at the 7th grade students of SMP Negeri 1 Sambas in academic year 2020 and 2021. For the first is the research background. So here, why vocabulary? As Spencer and Hay 1998 cited in Ali Youssef 2006, put word recognition is an essential component in the mastery of reading. So here, why the vocabulary as the topic in my research? Because vocabulary is the major components of English language or any language. And here I already observed the class of 7 grade students in SMP Negeri 1 Sambas. In the classroom, it is found that students are lack of vocabulary knowledge, and they feel difficulty to translate words in Indonesia, and then they do not know how to distinguish between noun and verb in descriptive text. So this is the reasons why I conduct vocabulary as the topic and the problems that occur in the classroom. And for the research question, how does the use of tic-tac-toe game improve students' vocabulary knowledge of descriptive text at 7th grade students of SMP Negeri 1 Sambas? And the purpose is to find out how the use of tic-tac-toe game improves students' vocabulary knowledge of descriptive text at 7th grade students of SMP Negeri 1 Sambas. And then the research significance. For the researcher, this research will be a new experience in conducting game as a tool to teach vocabulary knowledge of descriptive text as the research. And for the students and the teachers, this research can enrich students' vocabulary knowledge in understanding descriptive text through game. And for the teachers, this research can be a tool for the teachers in teaching descriptive text to improve students' vocabulary knowledge. And other researchers, this research can be one of the references or sources in conducting their research, especially for those who have similar research with this research. Why I chose tic-tac-toe game? Because tic-tac-toe game is an ancient game that is already found in the previous by years. It is 9 grades of X and O symbols, and it played by 2 people by turn. The first player start the game with an X symbol, and the other one, the second, will be the opponent. And the grid must be filled with vertically, horizontally, or diagonally with X, full of X, or only O, kind of that. Why I conduct to the research? Because this game will be attractive for the students and can engage them to get the vocabulary items that already in the descriptive text. And for the terminology, vocabulary knowledge is the condition of knowing list of words of a language gained by experience or learning. And it is the essential component of English language. And descriptive text is a text which describes a thing in general. The thing can be a person, a place, or an object. And the description must be factual and same as it is like. And the tic-tac-toe game is a game which involves two persons involving on a 3x3 using X or O symbols. This game must have a good strategy to defeat the rival or the opponent. And a person can be a champion if that person can mark the spaces in the grids with all 3x or O in horizontal, vertical, or diagonal row. And SMP Negeri 1 Sambas is a junior school located in Jalan Pendidikan Timur Manggis, Kecamatan Sambas, Kabupaten Sambas, Kalimantan Barat. For the literature review, I conduct the topic of vocabulary knowledge, which is the definition of vocabulary knowledge itself, descriptive text, the definition of descriptive text, the structure of descriptive text, and the language features of descriptive text. And the last, the topic of tic-tac-toe game. It is a definition of tic-tac-toe game and the use of tic-tac-toe game itself. And the frame of concept. Okay, here in teaching activity, there will be explanation about descriptive text by the teacher according to the handout. So there will be a handout of the classroom has its own handout, and the teacher will use that handout to support the material. And the teacher and the second steps is teacher and students will discuss about the definition, the generic structure, language features, translate unfamiliar words in Indonesia, also distinguish together between noun and verb in the text. And then teacher will give example of the text, whether it describes about a place, an object, or a person. And tic-tac-toe game will be applied after teacher's explanation in form of grid that should be filled with information that students get. Okay, the tic-tac-toe game here will be drawn by the teachers on the blackboard, whiteboard, and the teacher will demonstrate first how to play the game. For example, there is a text about a person, and the teacher play with the verb, the vocabulary, which is the verb, the symbol X to the verb and O to noun, X to verb and O to noun. So if the vocabulary is about verb, it is written by X and the vocabulary X, and then for example run, and then O Y, kind of that. But it will be just a demonstration. Then after the demonstration, the students are asked to play the game by in pair, kind of that. So they will be given another descriptive text, then they start to play the game in the classroom. Okay, and the methodology, the research design. Of course, I would like to conduct the classroom action research as the design, because according to Matt et al. 2001, Divine classroom action research is a method of finding out what works best in your own classroom so that you can improve student learning. Because vocabulary is the problem, so I want to find the solution to get the right technique, the appropriate strategy to enrich the vocabulary knowledge of the students so that they can understand the descriptive text well. And the research subject, this research will be conducted at 7 grade students of SMP Negeri 1 Sambas. The class has 35 students, which consists of 16 males and 19 female students. And the role of the researcher, that I will be a collaborator in conducting this research. Why? Because the teacher is the teacher here the is more understand of the condition in the classroom than me. So I will need the help from the teacher to examine the learning process by using the lesson plan that I have made before. And the technique of data collection. For qualitative approach, the researcher will use observation method and in the form of table and statement. And for the quantitative approach, the data will be collected by giving an objective test to find out the improvement after giving tic-tac-toe game in teaching activity by the teacher. Why objective test? Because after applying the game, I want my student to fill the test about vocabulary knowledge. The test is objective, consists of 4 options, and they have to choose the correct one. So this is how I assess their enrichment, they vocabulary. And for the tools of data collection, I will use tests and observation checklist and also the field note as the tool of the data collection. And the technique of data analysis, after collecting the data, so I will measure the vocabulary test result, review the observation checklist, and investigate the field note. So I already got the result of the test, and then I review the observation that I already observed in the classroom and investigate the field note that already occurred in the classroom also. So here the references are the bibliography and the appendices. So here, in my proposal, I conduct lesson plan with the topic descriptive text, with the activity using tic-tac-toe game, and the vocabulary knowledge test, which is consists of 10 items, and then observation checklist, the table, and the field note itself. So here, so I think that's enough from my presentation. Thank you for listening. Is there any suggestions, comments, or questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, when when we saw out your PowerPoint and also your proposal, actually I got interested in how you explain about your proposal in the PowerPoint. I think this is a good step because you make it at some point and you understand it in your mind and you not make it as the statement in the PowerPoint. So I think that is a good way. And then in your proposal, I also already saw that you already put so many citation. I think that is very good because we know that find out the citation is not easy, right? So I appreciate your effort to find your own citations. And then I also did not find any typos in your proposal and also grammatical error. I am not focused on your document, or I just pass this point. So I consider it this is good for you. Thank you for your effort. But I have questions for you. So, when I saw your proposal, why you only put only one research gap? Do you have any difficulties in find out, do you have found it difficult to search about the vocabulary or what? Because I think in the other statements you put it so many citations, but in the research gap you only put one research. I think this is like what?
The research for previous
Previous study. This is the first.
Yes.
Next. Tic-tac-toe game. I already knew it when we in elementary school, actually. So why do you think it's attractive to the students? You state in your proposal, this will be attractive to the students. Why? Why you think it's attractive? I think this game is an old game, and you also already state that it is an ancient old game. But why you find it attractive to the students? Okay, can you understand?
Yes.
Okay, the next. In part of concept, the explanation about descriptive text. This definition, generic structure, language. Wait. Okay, no, sorry. For a concept.
Atau jawab yang untuk yang di atasnya itu sudah
Belum. Okay. In this previous yang translate.
okay, problem.
In the main focus, you just in the main. Yeah, you just translate. In your proposal, you just translate is from the previous or the new text, because in your proposal you just explain about they will translate, or you will teach them how to translate from English to Indonesia.
Pardon?
You already stated in your proposal that you will teach them how to translate the unfamiliar word from English to Indonesia, right? But I found it confused about after you teach, you ask them to translate. You stated that in your proposal. Is this the new one, or in the old you just ask them to memorize the old translation? I think it's in. It's pretty long. Okay, I actually very confused about your purpose, because your purpose is to find out how the use of tic-tac-toe game improves students. Do you want to see the improvement or to see the use of tic-tac-toe game? Because the use of tic-tac-toe and the improving of the tic-tac-toe to the students, I think that is different, if I'm not mistaken. if you focus on the use of the tic-tac-toe game on the students, that is experimental.
Yes.
If you want to see the improvement, that is car. So because we already in the same major, car, so I think this is improvement because our title is also improving.
So it will be better to find out the improvement of students' vocabulary.
Yeah, not the use of the tic-tac-toe game. If you want to focus, you just using the way of experimental, not car.
Okay.
That's in my opinion. I'm sorry if that is wrong. Okay, that's all from my questions. I'm sorry if I give wrong questions. I also just confused. Yeah, I just confused, and I want to ask to help you to have a better proposal. Thank you.
So I will answer the questions from Adele. The first question: why do I only put one previous research or study? Here it is my mistake. It is because I do not have I do not prepare well and do not find the previous study of the same topic. Actually, the topic is familiar, but here I try to find the gap, kind of the difference between the use of game and another strategy, but I did not found yet. And I only found the previous study that have similarity with my research, so I only put one. And the journal that I want to find is also limited because tic-tac-toe game for vocabulary is only come from our country. Yes. So it is hard. And the second, why do you think tic-tac-toe game is attractive game? Why? Because as you know that it is already become popular in our school period, right? Before. And I also the first time that I know this game, I also get attractive. Why? Because why the symbols X and O can be the game, and how if I apply it to the research? Because you know that when play a game can attract the students, attracts attention. And why tic-tac-toe? Because it is played with our friend, that it can beat our opponent, which is our friends, to get I mean, if we play with our friends, it will be more easy to follow the lesson, kind of that encouragement, kind of that. And the third, the translate in Indonesia in new text or the old one. What does it mean?
I read it on your proposal.
In different concept or in the problems in the research background?
Actually, I forgot in what point. I also forgot to make it notes.
Okay, here what I mean translate. When the teacher explain about descriptive text and got the unfamiliar words in the learning process, students will feel anxiety to translate, right?
Yeah.
They don't know the meaning in Indonesia. So here, during the learning process, the teacher and the students together translate the words, the unfamiliar words, from the text. So it is based on the text and based on the condition right now. Kind of it. Is it clear?
Okay. Understood.
And the purpose. Okay. I also don't know. I also do not know how to. My purpose is to see the improvement, but I made a mistake that I write to find out how the use of tic-tac-toe game itself. So I think, yeah, thank you for the suggestions. It helps me. Okay, from this discussion too.
Okay, thank you. I, as a discussion too, also agree with Adelia, because you have a good format and good structure in your proposal, and uh, I just wondering about your uh, your vocabulary. My question is, what kind of your vocabulary? Can you answer now?
Okay, in my research, I focus on vocabulary items in noun and verb.
Noun and verb. But as we know, noun and verb is so many, right? And from my question, I want to give suggestion. Suggestion about you have to decide what context of your noun and verb
To specify
vocabulary, yes, to specify the types of the vocabulary. For example, is maybe you can decide to focus on vocabulary in kitchen or in house or in the classroom, right? Just like that. And also I just wondering about why you don't explain more about the type of descriptive in your research design, especially in action. You only put the descriptive, but what kind of the descriptive, like a place or a person or and or picture, that, right? I just give your suggestion to explain more about that, or you can focus in one, or you put the example of descriptive text in your proposal. And wait for the back to your problem is vocabulary. The vocabulary is I think it's too general, because you, as we know, is one word in English. If we translate to Indonesian, it's so many. How you can assess what your students understanding about that vocabulary? That's all my question and suggestion. I'm sorry if I mix the suggestion and question.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, thank you for the suggestions, comments, and the questions. So for answering the number one, why do you don't focus on particular descriptive text?
Yes.
Okay, so actually I want to focus on particular descriptive text, but I don't decide what text that I want to focus, kind of, is it place, object, or person, because I am still confused When will I put this text during the lessons? Kind of that. I just think to provide the different text, place, object, and persons in one's teaching and learning process, but in by turn. For the first, about place. Next, the next game about object and the persons, kind of thing.
But that is in one meeting, or
I don't decide because I'm still confused.
you have to decide
Yes.
soon. Because I suggest you to. I also suggest you to give with the same topic or same types of in one meeting, in one group, in another group you have to find the same type, like for example is in group 1 is about place, group 2 also have to must about the place. From that we also know about the same vocab from the students.
Some context.
Yes, some context.
And the second question: how assess your students' vocabulary knowledge? So I provide the objective test about vocabulary. So here in the test consists of 10 items, questions. Here it is about vocabulary, and the student should choose the correct answer of each question. So that is the way how assess my students' ability vocabulary
Or just only through the test?
through the test.
Through the test. Is it clear?
Is it clear?
Yes.
Is there any suggestion, additional suggestion? No, thank you. Yes.
Okay, I just want to ask you a question. Maybe it can help you to understand more about your proposal, and also it will help me to understand your writing. So my question is, in the grid,
Great.
in the grid, should a student put all noun in the text you give, or just one noun in one grid, until it will be an O or XXX. So you give the text first, right? You give the text first, and the students decide this is noun and this is verb. So my question is, should the students put like one grid is 3 noun, or one grid is 4 verbs, for example, or just only one noun in one grid? I just confused.
Okay. Here there are 9 grids.
Yeah.
9 box, kind of that. So here the first player will fill the grid with noun X.
Yeah.
They only put one noun, and also the other student.
Oh,
So
just
it is
one noun,
one
one
noun,
verb.
one noun, one verb, one noun, one verb, until it make a row.
Yeah.
And if one of the students already fill the grid with the vocabulary, and if the grid is filled and dominate the grid, I mean full, so he will get
The winner.
he will be the winner, and the teacher can assess that he is good in vocabulary.
If she or he can separate between noun and verb and take their turn.
But I have suggestion from your explanation is you have decide what the word do you want to assess in the grade? Because in one text of descriptive text, it's so many verb and noun.
At least 9.
Yes,
At
you-
least.
So I have to prepare
Yes.
the good
good
text.
good text and good word.
Oh.
You have to decide what the words you want to find in the grid.
Mm.
I think that's all.
Thank you for the suggestion. Is there any additional questions?
No.
Okay, I think that's all from my presentation. Thank you very much for your questions, suggestions, and your comments. Also for the note taker. So I hope this simulation, this presentation will help me to write the better and design the better proposal. And of course for you all too. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi